So my connection with nature and the natural world started when I was tiny, because my granddad was a gardener, and he'd, I don't know, he used to work as a miner, which he really didn't suit him. Spending a lot of time, obviously, underground in the dark. And at some point he got to a point where he really didn't feel like he could do this anymore and became a gardener. And he worked for the parks department. And my mum grew up living in a small park, actually, that he ran. So there was always quite a strong sense of like connection to nature in our family. And my granddad used to teach me names of wildflowers and things like that. But I would say my own kind of connection to nature came, I think, when I had quite a fundamental experience that really did change me, was when I'd moved from living in Yorkshire via Eastbourne to like moving to live in really rural Somerset. And it was a real shock to the system because I was used to cities and towns and public transport and being able to walk to the cinema, and suddenly I was what I felt living very much in the middle of nowhere. And I was a person who didn't even own a pair of wellies, so this was a real shocker. And one thing I found, I was pregnant at the time with my second child, and my eldest he was about 2.5. And to keep him occupied, we used to go for a walk every day, come rain or shine. And it was always the same walk that we did, because it was an easy walk to do. And so we walked country lanes, and I found my connection to nature deepen profoundly in that time, because of the fact that it was about 2 years we were walking the same route every day, and I got to see all the parts of nature changing over time, and to be able to see the cycle of things changing. And at that time things were quite hard in life for me. I was away from my family. I felt very, very, very lonely, actually quite profoundly lonely at times. But I sort of suddenly felt tied into nature, and to see the cycle of like winter and everything dying away, and kind of almost like reflecting them feelings of loneliness that I had, and then spring coming back, and then going through that whole wheel of the year and then doing it again. There was something about it that made me feel that life did have this cycle, and that like no one experience or no one mood was ever the final one. I kind of think it's more interdependent. I think that, yeah, it's about relationship. And I think our relationship with the earth and the earth's relationship with us is kind of like a two-way street. I think we're both doing the saving and being saved. Yeah, both the earth and ourselves. That's what I'd say. Yeah, it's uncanny even for me. So, and it's related to my gran, who died when I was 21. So when my gran died, we all gathered things. We didn't sort of have. She wanted lots of flowers, but she didn't want anything with cellophane on it. So she's quite specific about that. And so we gathered various bits to put, like, roses out of the garden and things. And I picked a load of wheat for her because there was some in the fields at that time, and kind of put it on a coffin. And then ever after that, bits of wheat would show up wherever I moved to. So it'd be like one time in a house it was just sort of there on the floor, and then another time it was like there as a flower arrangement in the fireplace, and then another time I moved, and the funniest time when I moved with my little boy down to Somerset, and I was looking around for, well, where's the piece of wheat? It's like, because that nature felt, it was like talking to me. It was almost like a sign from my grand saying this is going to be okay, through this sort of natural phenomena. And my little boy reached up, and out of the roof he pulled out a piece of wheat, because we'd moved to a thatched cottage. So it's like, oh, there it is, it's the whole flipping roof. And then when I moved to the house that I'm in now, and I've been in for nearly 20 years, I was like, where's the wheat? And then looked across and it was growing in the field opposite. So it feels like that's always been a bit of a, it feels like a sort of symbol or a message or something. So that, yeah, that's something with nature that I feel that feels like quite an ally, actually. I have a challenge that I'd love to set people, actually, and it is slightly related to some of the themes I've been talking about. So for me, my challenge is called Find a Friend. And what I want to set for people is that they go out into nature with the idea that they're going to find a friend and an ally in nature. So we're looking for something specific. So, for example, if you live in a city or a town, it could be that it's a cat that you see passing by. It could be a dandelion growing up through the pavement. It could be that you look up and you see this amazing blue sky and it just really lifts your spirits. Or it could be a significant tree or the sound of birds or something that you see and you feel that sense of connection to, that you feel like that's a friend, that's a companion, even in just that small moment. And then I want you to spend some time with whatever it is you found and just really kind of try and connect as much as you can and notice as much as you can. You know, really go still and spend time, you know, with all your senses noticing. How does this feel? You know, is there any kind of taste? Obviously don't like eat things you shouldn't, but you know, it's like, is there anything related to that? Is there a smell? You know, can you feel like wind on your skin, all that sort of thing? And then maybe spend just a bit of time reflecting on why that's something you've chosen. You know, it's like, what is it about that relationship? What's it trying to say to you? Is it trying to speak to you in some way? So to kind of find an ally in nature in quite a specific way, that's my challenge.